Well, there you go, Suns fans. The 2020-2021 regular season is officially over, and it happens in a dramatic fashion as the Suns go to San Antonio, beat them twice, and then get a game winner from Etwan Moore, Matthew, to win it. The 2021 regular season is now officially over. The Suns 51-21, their first time winning over 50 games since the 2009-2010 season. Matthew, welcome to the Suns Jam Session podcast.
What's up? We're back after missing one game, but what a way to end it. Cherry on the Sunday. Jalen Smith, 41 minutes, and the Suns win by just the bench themselves. A game that we needed for the first place, first seed. So, dude, what a magical season, and a way to end it like this. I couldn't be any more happy. Instead of just playing the starters and getting through the game and trying to win it that way, playing with the bench and the way they ended it tonight or today it was a beautiful ending to the season, man.
Yeah, it's, so many different moments in this season are to be valued and appreciated. And so many different times we can look back and pick out, what's your favorite game? What's your favorite moment? And to end the regular season on a buzzer beater 3 by Etwan Moore, a guy who hasn't played in 2 months, is just poetic. And it just shows the depth of this team, the reasons why we love this team. It's going to go down. There's so many unwritten chapters to this season that lie ahead, but the regular season is going to be something that Suns fans are going to remember for a very long time. It's going to be a regular season that's going to be remembered by young Suns fans as the season in which they became a fan of this team and a fan of this franchise. It's something that's been missing for so long. There's been dramatic moments, but there's been exciting moments. And to see them win today in the way that they did is just unbelievably fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't be any happier right now, honestly.
Yeah.
Cloud
9. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Suns Jam Session podcast. Shout out to Job Flores in the chat, hooking us up with $10 via the super chat. We thank you. I definitely could use it. I'm currently in Laughlin. One of the reasons that we did not go live after the game last night or yesterday afternoon is I was traveling up here. Matthew was working, and we didn't have an opportunity to actually put on the podcast, which is a very rare thing, obviously, as many of you know, for us. I think we've hit every single game minus last night's game or yesterday afternoon's game. So we're back here with a vengeance. Again, I'm in this shitty hotel room. So for those of you who are watching along live on the Suns Jam Session podcast, you can see exactly where I'm at. I'm staying at the Aquarius in Laughlin. And I got to say, Matthew, I find myself coughing a lot because as you walk through the lobby, it's just I'm not used to smoke everywhere. And it's like there's not a ton of people smoking in the lobby, but I think like this hotel hasn't been refurbished since like 1984. So there's just like 40 years of smoke just that kind of permeating from the carpet. I woke up this morning, I had like a smoker's cough. And like I'm somebody who smoked for years when I was in the military, haven't smoked for about the past 7 or 8 years. And I'm like, like, what the fuck is going on?
It's a secondhand smoke.
It is.
It matches those poop green
yes, this
curtains behind you.
It's Aquarius, man. So it's like you're supposed to be like under the sea, and you walk up and down the hallways, and it's just it's very dated. So if you're watching from the Aquarius, update your shit, bro.
Yeah. You look good though in there, man. When we got on, you said you had to evacuate a hooker from your hotel room, right? Give her $100.
Yeah, I'm like, here's your $100. Get out of here. I got a podcast. You can see the bed behind me. It's nicely made. Yeah. I'm like, I don't need you in the background. It's going to create problems. But shout out to one of our jamsters in the chat, one of our elite jamsters, Alex Kroll. He said some beer money for Matthew to go towards his Sleeves Foundation.
Oh, so I forgot to put on my tank. I was going to put on my tank. It's Sunday afternoon. The sun's out. It's beautiful. I was about to go swimming after this pod, so I should have put that tank on there. Next pod.
Next pod. Well, this is a reminder to everybody who is watching along live with us to go ahead, subscribe, hit the thumbs up button. It helps with the algorithms, lets all the other Suns fans know where to go for the best post-game content. And not just post-game content. With this next week coming up, Matthew and I are going to be getting together on Tuesday. We're going to have our Jammies show where we hand out our end-of-year jam session awards to different our different categories throughout the NBA. And then on Friday, we'll do our playoff preview prior to going live after the first game of the playoffs for the Phoenix Suns. So you hit those thumbs up button. That definitely helps let other Suns fans know where to go. If you are on our YouTube channel, you can join the Elite Jamsters simply by clicking the join button or following the link in the subscription. And again, if you're watching along live, you can hit that little super chat money and you can donate, because I could use some help here. Lost some money at craps last night, so trying to make it back up, trying to make the wife happy. Be like, listen, I know I lost some money at craps, but you know what? The Jamsters came through, and we appreciate that. So if you're listening on the Bright Side of the Sun podcast network, go ahead, subscribe, rate, and review. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, if you leave us a 5-star review, we'll sit and read your review right here on the podcast. You can follow the show at Suns Jam on Instagram, Twitter, and the Phoenix Fans app. You can follow me on the same platforms at Darth Voita. You can follow Matthew on the same platforms.
At Matthew Lissy? Is that what I'm supposed to do?
I think that's correct. Correct. So regular season is over. I'm in Laughlin. I'm going to pop open this house wine, raspberry lemonade.
Oh,
it's going to be delicious at 1:19 in the afternoon. Matthew, what are you going to be smashing on?
I finished my second coffee of the day already. It's been a rough morning for me. Getting into the rhythm of today with the Suns game early. I didn't, of course, no work today, but I need this pickup. It's already gone.
Wow.
Sorry I couldn't share it with the Jamsters.
2 of them? Wow,
yeah.
You're the man, dude.
I guess
so. On that note, I'm going to pop them if you got them, Suns fans. Ooh, that sounds ever so crisp. And let's go Suns, baby. Regular season over. Cheers to the playoffs. In dramatic, ever so dramatic fashion, your Phoenix Suns go to San Antonio. And granted, we weren't here yesterday to discuss the absolute shellacking that occurred. I didn't see the game. Matthew, I know you were working, but they shellacked the Spurs yesterday. And then today, on an afternoon affair, one of the early games, while every team is playing in the NBA, they go to San Antonio for a second back-to-back and went on an amazing buzzer beater by our boy Each-One More, man. Wow. Just wow.
I know.
That's all I got to say.
It's a fun weekend. Looking at the schedule before the second half was released, we looked at these 2 games, and I was actually thinking these games might suck because depending on how the season goes, they might matter with seeding. Of course, they do for the Suns, but Spurs are already pretty much locked up where they're at. So I was just thinking, I'm like, this might suck. But dude, this weekend was so fun because you come in the first game yesterday, and I saw bits of it. I had it on in the background. I can't really talk too much about it because I was working, but it just seemed like the team was like, you know what, let's show what we're made of going into the playoffs. They came out, handled business. They went up by 40. When's the last time this season they went up by 40 against the team they should have just killed? They just absolutely wanted the rest. They wanted to win this game, and they probably thought, hey, if we win this one, then our bench players who have earned like the support that they've given the starters can come in and play the big minutes like Stix. So it was just it's the best way to end the season. Seriously, I wanted to see this bench play. I wanted to see Stix play, and we got what we wanted. And I honestly, if they were to play their starters and still win this game, it would have been nice. But the way they won it today and finish out these 2 games was exactly how you want to draw it up. And that's usually not that never happens with my teams. My teams that I love never goes to plan like this. Now they put pressure on the Jazz. It's not over yet, right? This weekend, but so far, so good for the Suns.
Yeah, it's fun to watch, and I think you hit on a couple of really good points there, and I'll hit on those real quick. I just want to give some shout outs to some of the Jamsters hooking us up. You got Carlos Johnson dropped a super sticker in the chat. You got Frederick Winslow hooking us up with $5 to say, thank you, Fred. You got Brian Stewart as well. Joe Flores, he says, this is for cursing live Thursday in the parking garage. 1 round for round 1 at Chupacabra. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect,
all right.
man.
So yeah, we appreciate that, man. You were live there with the Fanning the Flames guy in the parking lot. That was fantastic. Yeah. So Again, shout out to all the Jamsters who are just here. You got Tree Nugs with the 777 super chats for the Valley. I need those 777s to hit the slot machines a little bit later. Once I'm done here, I'm going to go play bingo with my mom.
That's so cool, dude. How cute is that? John and his mom playing bingo,
with my wife and my sister. It's a girl.
Yeah, I know. But with your mom, it's just so cute.
My mom yesterday, I got a picture I just posted on my Instagram where my mom we're eating dinner last night. She's got like her glass and she's just like, she's got her flask of whiskey. She's just pouring it into. Like, my mom's a G, man.
Doesn't she do that to Diamondbacks games too?
Yeah, she drinks wherever she can. Like, it's so funny. Like, she's not an alcoholic. Like, my mom will seriously be like, she'll go 2 months without drinking before she comes to Laughlin, just because she's like, she knows she wants to get crunk. So
yeah,
shout out to yourself, Darth Foot's mom. But no, one of the points that you definitely pointed out that I think is a valid one is, this is the best way for the Suns to win because it gets everybody involved and excited for the playoffs. You have no idea what awaits you, but knowing that you can go out one day, utilize your starters, minus DeAndre Ayton, which we'll talk about here in a second, but minus DeAndre Ayton, and perform at the level that you do, crisp, clean, just ready to win, which allows your Stix to get the starting minutes, which allows each one more to get minutes. Step one was just destroy them on Saturday, so Sunday all these guys could just play. And they've been sitting there, they've been getting the high fives, and they've been the ones who've been supporting you from the bench when you've been making the big shots and the threes, and now it's your turn to do the same for them. And it does nothing but fortify that word that is this team, and that is team. And to see Stix get this, like when I saw Stix was in the starting lineup, a couple things happened. One, I went down very early to the sportsbook this morning and I laid a couple bets down. And then once I laid the bets down about, that was like 8 this morning, at like 9-10 this morning, they're like, oh, by the way, no Chris Paul, no Devin Booker. 8 I didn't think was going to play. And I was like, well, this thing, I can fucking just throw this away. I had the Suns covering by 4 points and they didn't. They won by 2, but oh well, they won. But I saw Stix was going to be, and I was like, dude, hell yeah, dude. Stix is going to get some starting minutes. Like, we finally get an opportunity to get more than just garbage minutes at the end of the game against second teamers. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, San Antonio is not necessarily like a team that is the Clippers or the Lakers or the Nuggets, but he's going to get quality minutes tonight, and he performed, man.
He was unbelievable. Like, just the confidence in him was through the roof. I think he felt like he belonged on the floor. There wasn't really a moment where I was like, oh, he looks like a rookie. He looked like he fit right in with his team. He was doing exactly what you want him to do, hang around the rim, shoot it from 3. That's what we drafted him for, right? Got the rebounds tonight. He did exactly what we thought maybe he could do coming into the season. But what's nice is you got all minutes. He almost played 48 minutes tonight with 41. But
that's a lot of minutes, man. That's fantastic.
And when he got up for the alley-oop too, you don't really see that in him, that he can get up that high, but he can. There's just things tonight, of course, because we can't see him at like his full potential this whole season. We haven't had the chance. Tonight we did. And it must feel so great for him because of how weird the season was for him. Of course, a lot of players in the NBA, but how he had to go to the G League and how he had just never play unless it was like crappy minutes in the end. And even then, it's like no one really cares that the Suns are blowing a team out. They're not going to care too much in that. Like the body language and stuff isn't going to look too great from a lot of those players because they just want to get the game over with. But when you're starting the game, it matters. And it shows exactly why they drafted this guy. I'm not saying he's going to be a Hall of Famer or All-Star. Who knows? But it was really nice for him to end, because he probably won't get any minutes in the playoffs. Just to have this game underneath his belt going into next season, it's going to be great because he won't play any minutes in the playoffs, really. This was just to get his confidence up going into the offseason, be like, you know what? I can actually play, and I feel great, and I had the confidence today to actually help the Suns win a game. That must feel really great for him.
Well, and one thing you have to think about is how, a lot of Suns fans have been calling for Stix minutes all season long. And we've talked about it multiple times throughout this journey that has been the 2020-2021 season, and how it's not necessarily a good thing that if Stix was getting minutes. Like, we don't have the time to develop a guy who didn't have an opportunity to play in the summer league, who didn't have an opportunity to play in the preseason very much, seeing as it was muted to 4 games. There wasn't a lot of opportunity this season to develop him, and the only time you were going to get minutes was in a blowout win or a blowout loss. So that's, seeing him come out and play the way that he did today was it gives you hope for the future, because that's what we have to hope for, is the future with him. Like you said, he's not going to get meaningful playoff minutes, but when you have Tyrese Halliburton playing well, and he was the pick right after Jalen Stix, and we're like, man, and we weren't necessarily, but a lot of Suns fans were like, well, look at Tyrese Halliburton. Well, it's like, yeah, he was allowed opportunity. And remind me of what their seed is in the playoffs.
Oh, what, the Spurs?
No, the Kings.
Oh, the Kings, nothing.
Exactly.
I mean, they have to beat the Jazz tonight, so.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes. We'll talk about that here in a bit. But I think that, it's very valuable, because we know that going into next season, after we get through the playoffs and everything, we're going to have to navigate a lot of conversations relative to who's going to stay on this team and who isn't, who's valuable and who isn't, who's expendable, who isn't, who makes sense, who doesn't. Like, I could totally see Stix potentially taking the Dario Saric role on next year. I absolutely can. Dario Saric is going to have one of those contracts that is very enticing, and is going to, he'll have 2 years and $18 million left on his contract at the end of this season. So it's going to be one of those contracts that you can utilize in conjunction with other things, assets and what have you, to gain an asset or to gain a draft pick, what have you. Stix is going to have an opportunity to potentially fill those minutes, but you need to have a performance like today where you see him as a starter and you go, okay, there is potential in this kid, because he's looked very, very lost. Shout out to Buckdog, one of our elite jamsters in the chat. He says, big dick Stix. Love it. Big dicks Stix.
Pretty simple, but it rolls right off the tongue.
It rolls right off the tongue. So, again, I think that it was fun to see him out there, because we're all rooting for him too. And we all root for those James Jones picks, the Cam Johnsons, the ones who nobody nationally gives us any credit for. And even as Suns fans, we don't give him credit for, because when Cam Johnson was drafted, we're like, huh? And I remember, I was sitting right next to you when Jalen Smith was drafted, and we're like, okay. It was like one of those moments.
Did not expect it.
What? So, very, very valuable for him to perform the way that he did today. He ended with a total of 11 points, 10 rebounds, 5 for 11 shooting, 1 for 4 from 3, 2 assists, and 1 savage, just unbelievably savage, flagrant foul. Was that the softest flagrant foul you've ever seen in the history of the NBA?
Yeah, it was, and I didn't even know it was a flagrant at all until I saw on Twitter that it was. I must have missed a free throw, because I honestly, I was like, there's no chance that was actually a flagrant, man. I mean, for the poor guys just trying to move around and get past the dude, and I guess they called it a flagrant, which makes no sense, because that's the way the Suns have it this year, right? With the flagrants, I feel like those are the ones that we get hit for, and even on replay, man, it looked like nothing happened at all.
Soft.
It was so soft. So they must have saw something else, because I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. That almost cost us the game,
Potentially it could have.
Yeah.
Another guy who got a start today, who I was excited to see, Mikal Bridges got his 5 minutes just to continue his streak, and he was productive in those 5 minutes. 7 points, 3 for 3 from the field. But I want to talk about C4, man. Javon Carter, 43 minutes, 19 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. Like, he was 1 assist shy of the triple double, man. And I was just I was rooting for it at the very end of the game. I'm like, dude, just run a play where he passes to something, but the Suns made it a little too stressful at the end of the game, and it didn't allow an opportunity to him to kind of just have one of those, if they're up like 7 points and San Antonio knows it's over, he could have gotten one of those little alley-oops to Stix or something. It would have been for the 10th assist and the triple double. But what'd you see from Javon Carter tonight?
I think he looked great, man, because honestly, there was a few times where I'm like, you're almost costing us a game, because he kind of threw the ball away a little bit. I think he was getting too comfortable with certain passes. But besides that, man, he actually came out and he looked like the Javon Carter, like I thought coming into the season. He was doing a lot. I mean, he was doing whatever he needed to do to really control the offense. You had him starting with Campaign and him together. Of course, you love that duo. So they feed really well off of each other, and them getting each other in the game and then the rest of their teammates is something that you want to see, because you never know going to the playoffs what's going to happen, who needs to play. And you just want to see Javon Carter get to that next level, the level that he can kind of play at, where it's very unselfish, but then he'll take the threes when he needs to. And that's what he did tonight. And I feel like even on the miss he had, and he got the rebound and shot it again, it's like that's what kind of groove he was in tonight, because he can get in that groove like a Langston Galloway, like a Cameron Payne, where they can knock down 3-point shooters, but you want to see him spread the ball. Those assists are huge. That is something that I thought he would be good at this year. hasn't really had the chance to show it too much, but then even when he's in the game, he's just a knockdown 3-point shooter right now and plays defense. So for him to spread the ball, that's something that I want to see more of. And I know he can be good at that, but just having him start the game and get the minutes like Stix did, it's just it'll eventually come, right? And then I think what happened too is the rest of the Suns players that were playing today, they just felt so great. Everyone seemed like they were in a groove. So to get those assists, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying when everyone feels that great and you feel like everyone is on point, those assists are going to come easier because everyone seriously shooting 51% as a team, they're going to knock down a lot of those shots. So luckily for him, they were, and then that's why he got those assist numbers, but he was very unselfish tonight too.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't finding a lot of groove on offensively. I mean, 9 for 22 from the field. He shot the most field goal attempts than anybody on the team. I mean, he kept that Javon Carter mentality, like, you give me the ball, I'm going to shoot. And it seemed like about halfway during the game, he realized, like, you know what, I need to start dishing it a little bit. And as you mentioned, that's where something that you don't really expect from him, and again, you're not going to take a lot out of this game because this is a game in which your starting five is Dario Saric, Jalen Smith, Mikal Bridges, Cam Payne, and Javon Carter. So there's not like we're going to sit here and come up with some magical analysis like Javon Carter has turned a corner in his career. He's going to be a starter next year. No, he's not. What I did like to see was the fact that he was aggressive, because that's what you need from the Bulldog. Come playoff time, if he is to garner any minutes, which he most likely will, depending on the matchups, he's the kind of guy who is very valuable come playoff time because he is a plus defender who is a disruptor. And even though he's not physically tall, he's more of a Bulldog. He's somebody who can really disrupt the opposition, but you're going to need valuable minutes from him come playoff time because he's going to have to hit big shots. He will be open on plays. That is a guarantee. No matter who's out there, if they're running the 3-guard lineup where both Booker and Payne or Booker and Paul are out there and they decide to have Javon Carter in there, he's going to have to be big. And to see him, although they weren't necessarily going in, again, 9 for 22 for a total of 19 points, not efficient in any way, shape, or form. But to see him not lose his edge and keep shooting, that's what you're going to need, because those guys have to have that cold-blooded gene in the playoffs and have the ability to just, when that ball comes their way, just to grip the leather and shoot it at will. And, he shot it at will tonight.
Yeah, that's what Monty wants to see, man. He wants to see these guys just shoot the ball. I mean, 9 for 22, yeah, but that just shows that Javon Carter has confidence in his shot. So you want to see that, and then you have E'Twaun Moore come out and just dismantle this team's the Spurs defense by just those floaters, the teardrops, whatever he was doing. So it's so hard for Monty to be like, who the hell do I play in the playoffs? Because I can hit a game winner going to the playoffs. You haven't played in 2 months. It's like, what the hell are you doing to me?
So let's have the E'Twaun Moore conversation, because he was fantastic tonight. 22 points to lead all scorers, 9 for 10 from the field, had 2 rebounds, 2 assists. 1 block, and of course he hit the game winner, a 3-pointer with 2 seconds left on the clock. And that's a good question. And one thing that I know we are both E'Twaun Moore fans for what he did earlier in the season. There was that stretch during the season where Booker was a little bit hurt, CP3 was playing a little bit less minutes, Javon Carter was getting no minutes, and E'Twaun Moore was getting, I wouldn't say the lion's share of the bench minutes, but he had probably about a 10 or 12 game stretch where we saw plenty of E'Twaun Moore. And then he just kind of went away. And, he possesses the Matthew Lissy special, the floater in the lane, one of Matthew's favorite shots. And, it's just when he shoots it, it's going in. I don't think that his performance today is going to affect the way that Monty approaches his rotations come playoff time.
No.
But it's got to make him think a little bit now, right?
Well, I mean, if someone's off, you can put him in. I think it helps E'Twaun. Not that he's ever said anything probably on the bench, like how he doesn't get minutes, but it helps him be like, you know what, I still have it. And if he calls me in the playoffs, I'll be ready. But you're right. I don't think Monty's really going to mess with his lineups right now, because this game was basically just get those guys out there and just give them a lot of minutes because they deserved it. And I feel like this season ending this way was perfect. But if they're going to actually go out there and perform that way, the way he did tonight, it hurts Monty in a way to where it might hurt him, because he knows how good of a player he is and how he can contribute to this team, but he probably is not getting any playoff minutes. But there are going to be, I bet you, a couple minutes this playoffs where he'll get some minutes that are going to be crucial. And this game kind of just helps him go into that, because he's not going to sit on the bench, I don't think, the whole time. I think these guys will come in and maybe get 2 or 3 minutes if needed in the playoffs. But I don't know. We'll see, man.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting because, again, the depth of this team has been a strength of theirs all season long. And as you go into the playoffs, obviously you cut down on your rotations. You don't need your depth as much. And
Yeah.
it really becomes like playing with a bullpen in high leverage playoff situations where you have, some of the teams with the deepest bullpens, by the time they get to the playoffs, they've got like their rotations down. They're like, okay, if it's the seventh inning, we're bringing in this guy. The eighth inning, it's this guy. The ninth inning, it's our closer. And if one of those guys gets rocked, like, you lose, and you don't want to run into that situation with the Suns roster. And Etuan Moore is such a pro. I mean, he's such a pro, and he's somebody that essentially the way that James Jones constructed this roster this season is he's like, all right, campaign, you're going to get the backup opportunity behind Chris Paul. If you lose it, I've got Etuan Moore sitting in the wings. And kudos to campaign, man. Like, I would not replace Etuan Moore with campaign. Even tonight, he ended with 19 points, 7 for 14 shooting, 3 for 6 from downtown, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, and 1 steal. He's playing so well. And even though Etuan had a great performance tonight, you can't sit there and even have that conversation, right?
No, you can't. You can't have it with anybody, any of these players right now. They're all in a groove. They haven't really been off. I mean, Sarge is the only one we can talk about that maybe needs to improve, but he's just himself right now. I don't think you're gonna get any less out of him. But right now, I mean, even that's the reason I feel like they got Langston Galloway and Etuan Moore in the offseason. It's like, you know what? You're probably not going to play a lot of the games, but we know you're professional. You can handle yourself and help these teammates too from the bench, and that's what they've done all season. So nothing's going to change, I think. And I think that honestly, what he's going to do in the playoffs, it might surprise us if he does put him in, but honestly, I think they're just excited to be in the playoffs again because these are veterans that they want a chance to try to get that ring this year. So anything to help the team, they're gonna be there for them.
The Sarge smoke break.
I tell you, man, I feel like I've been on a Sarge smoke break walking around the halls of Laughlin with all these fucking old people smoking cigarettes, man.
That's the way. That's his life, man.
Dude,
I mean, are you saying he has a rough life? Walk a
Laughlin casino. I tell you, you come around the corner, you smell the smoke. You're like, Dario? Is Dario here?
Dario, where you at, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, what'd you see from Dario tonight? A lot more miscoordination. He had
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's just he's miscoordinated, which I don't even think is a word, but it's like the perfect Dario word. 13 points on 6 for 12 shooting, 1 for 3 from the field, or from deep. I'm sorry. 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, a plus 13. What'd you have from our old boy, wide open Dario bricking? The Dario bong break.
Oh man, it might be. I mean, the way he was, he had some easy layups tonight, man. Easy layups that are never going to be seen again the rest of the year. So
he was shocked.
Yeah, he was. I mean, him and Frank had a few floaters that were nice. I mean, but I don't know, leave that guy open, Sarge, from 3 if you're the opposing team, because he is just so uncomfortable with that shot. I mean, even more than before. So if Monty's going to give him minutes, I don't know. It's just so weird to talk about him because I don't know what to expect. I don't know, but I know tonight was kind of easier for him. I know he didn't break 30 minutes tonight, but he's just what he is right now, right? I can't even remember the way he was before we started the segment, but right now I'm just kind of lost even for words how to describe this guy right now.
Again, like, if Jalen Smith can legitimately develop into a backup 4, like, it'll be nice to see some athleticism because it's so tough. And we love Dario. Yeah. I mean, I do love Dario. I've said it before. I'll say it again. He's somebody who rose his hand and says, I'm coming back there after the bubble performance. He was so key to our bubble performance. He was so key to us turning it around. So I'm a big Dario Sarge fan. But, I mean, he is going to be – Coda Kid says it right in the chat. He says, Dario was on fire before the segment. We made the segment, and he's sucked ass since. So I honestly –
Should we retire it and see what happens?
Yeah,
you want to retire it or no?
Well, we'll see how it goes in the playoffs.
Let's just say we retired it right now, and then the first playoff game, if he comes back, he's like 4 for 6 and like 6 rebounds in the minutes he's played, maybe 20 minutes. Then we'll keep it retired.
Yeah, we'll keep it retired. But if he comes down the playoffs in the first couple games and sucks ass, we'll go right back to having the smoke break back. I agree with that because he has. I feel like we have personally jinxed him. But it's just like, Buck Dog, my nipple game is strong today. Bam! It's cold. It's actually super cold in my room right now.
Oh my
so
God.
cold.
They're cold and charcoaly, right? From the from the smoke.
from all the smoke when you rub it up
Smoky
against.
nipples.
But yeah, I mean, Dario will really see. He's gonna have to be unbelievably valuable in the playoffs. He really is. And oh man, it's gonna come down to him. But another guy who it might come down to, in all honesty,
what's up?
The juice, man. Tory Craig today, coming off the bench. I like that they kept him in his role. They could have had the opportunity to start him over Jalen Smith. And I like that Monty said, Jalen Smith, you're going to get 41 minutes tonight. Juice, we're going to have you coming in playing the same role that you normally do. He had 11 points, 5 from 11 from the field, 4 assists, 6 big rebounds. And what I loved is he had 5 personal fouls. Like, the Juice stayed physical today in a game that wasn't necessarily physical.
Yeah, he did. And honestly, you know what you're going to get from him, right? He's the guy that's right now. I know you're talking about Stix and maybe next season taking over the Dario Saric minutes, but in the playoffs coming up, it's going to be Tory Craig. So Craig, he's absolutely he's so consistent on this team right now. And those rebounds, like he said, whoa, that was bad. Was that
more rebounds? It was okay.
Oh man, that was rough. Sometimes I rewatch these podcasts and like I feel like my voice squeaks even more. So I gotta get those testosterone pills are coming in soon. But anyways, Craig.
Well, if you want to donate in the super chat, we can get Matthew some more testosterone pills.
I need it.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know. Craig's awesome. That's all I gotta say, man.
Yeah, I love Tory Craig. Well, he's what we need in the playoffs.
Exactly.
He's what Dario Saric hasn't been. Is physical, is athletic, is grabbing rebound authority, is hitting threes, is just being the aggressor that the Suns are going to need come playoff time, and do you have anything else from your notes before we hand out the Jam Star?
My notes are kind of slim. I just kind of enjoyed this game.
Yes,
but no,
I actually didn't write any notes this game for the first time.
Yeah, you're such a pro now. Who needs notes when you're you, dude?
Fact notes.
Jam Star of the Game.
All right, this is your reminder, Jamsters. If you're watching along live, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell button, which will notify you when we go live, because we will go live on Tuesday with our end-of-year Jammy Awards. I think I actually do. I still have the Jammy drop on here somewhere? I don't think I have it anymore because it'd be nice to go. Oh well. So yeah, we'll be doing our jammies on Tuesday, and then we'll do our playoff preview on Friday. So hit the bell button; it'll notify you when you go live, so you can join us in the chat and interact with the show as you always do. Go ahead as well and let us know in the chat who your Jam Star of the game is. Matthew, for the last time of the regular season, I'll let you go first. Who is your Jam Star of the game?
Should be more, but I'm going to choose Stix just because how many times do we come on this pod and do this award and everyone's putting Stix in there as a joke, but tonight he actually earned it, dude. He definitely earned it. Each one, close second, of course, game winner, but I'm going to give it to Stix.
All right, well, let's go down the line. Coda Kid gives it to Etwan. Leo gives it to Stix. Det Nibble gives it to Etwan. We got Stix for Leo. I already said that. More for Mark Close. Alex Kroll gives it to Etwan. Big Boogie Trent gives it to Etwan. Stix for Fabio. Yeah, it's down the Etwan Moore and Javon Carter. More. Twan is the Jam Star. Etwan, Stix, Moore,
Crazy,
Stix,
man.
Urkel.
Even with no starters, we still have an issue with the Jam Star. Who to give it to? Which is the bench players.
Well, you said Stix. I'll give it to Etwan Moore just because he hit the shot. He was the best player out there tonight, in my opinion. He was the most efficient player. He came in off the bench again, showcased his ability to be a consummate pro. 21 minutes, 22 points, 9 for 10 from the field, and the 3 that hit it. I mean, cheers to you, Mr. Etwan Moore, because that was a fantastic performance. And ultimately, the reason that 3 was so big, because we've locked up the 2 seed. We know that. We know we're the 2 seed. But with that shot, now we can start to look at some games later today with a little bit of more interest.
Thoughts? Brains?
So obviously with that victory, it moves the Suns to 51-21 on the season. Final standings for this season. And what that does now is that forces the Utah Jazz, if they want to lock up that 1 seed, they're actually going to have to try tonight. Now, granted, they played the San Antonio Spurs, or I'm sorry, the Sacramento Kings, a team that is not played well this season. They're 31-40 entering this last game of the season. They lost their last 2. They're without Tyrese Halliburton. They're a team that's just, they're a defeated squad. So do you think, the first question I got for you, Matthew, do you think that the Utah Jazz play their starters tonight, or do they go rogue like the Suns did and say, no, we're going to start our bench guys?
I think they start their starters. I think they do the best they can to win, because the whole season, no respect for the Jazz, even if they win this game. But for some reason, I mean, they've been in the first seed except for that 1 week where the Suns took it over for a little bit. But they've tried so hard to have the best record in the NBA. Why not just try to complete it, right? I mean, I think they had their own goals, but as an NBA fan, you kind of want to see, the team that was on top all season, even though they haven't had any respect. I don't know how many times I got to say that. They have a chance to be number 1 seed. So I think it's very special to them to win it. I think they come out strong and they probably just finish business. I know as a Suns fan, we want to see them lose, and they might, but tonight it might just be a blowout win over the Kings. But if you're the Kings, it might be fun to take them out, huh?
Well, yeah, that's the other side of this, is the Kings do have the opportunity to play spoiler here. And, they have the ability to affect the game that starts at 6 p.m. Arizona time tonight by potentially taking that team and beating them. And if they do, they bump them down to the 2 seed. And, I'll pull up the playoff picture here. This is, I believe, is as updated as it can be. So there you have it. So you have the Suns are currently awaiting the results of the Golden State Warriors and Los Angeles Lakers. So the Golden State Warriors are playing the Memphis Grizzlies right now as we podcast. The Warriors are up 6 at halftime, 55-49. So if they win that game, they lock in the 8 seed. If they lose that game, Memphis locks in the 8 seed and will have to play potentially the Lakers. Now, the Lakers are playing this evening as well, and they are playing against the New Orleans Pelicans. If they win that game and the Trailblazers lose to the Nuggets, then the Trailblazers will drop to the 7 seed and the Lakers will gain the 6 seed. So a lot of different things going on today, right?
Yeah, it's going to be very, very different. Honestly, Denver, it's like, what do you have to win for? But you have to win, right? Because the Clippers can take over that 3rd seed. So, man, it's going to be a fun night, dude. I'm glad the Suns got their game over with so that we could see, kind of like in the bubble, the last game, the 8th game, it was kind of like, Suns won, then we watched the rest of the day. It's the same exact thing, except for we're one of the best teams in the league, so it's a little different that way. But it's going to be fun tonight, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty to watch if you are a fan of basketball tonight. Because to your point, Denver could sit all of their starters against Portland, allow Portland to win, knowing that if that happens, Portland is going to be the team that they face in the first round. So it's like, do you not want to show your hands, or do you go, I don't want to play Portland in the first round. I would rather play Dallas. Mm-hmm. Well, if they lose, they'll play. I mean, there's so much going on. And, kudos to the NBA for putting this together the way that they have, because it's really come down to not just like the last day, but like the last games. Like, the Suns win today puts pressure on Utah. So now you're forced to have a good contest there. Golden State and Memphis, that's going to be a good contest. Like the Lakers, are they comfortable where they're at? Are they not comfortable where they're at? You have the Clippers. Are they comfortable playing Dallas, or do they feel like they match up better against the Portland Trailblazers? And if so, they're going to do everything they can to win. So, I mean, it's really, really interesting, but no matter what happens, I do kind of agree with what Chris Paul was saying when he was talking to the TNT guys at the end of the last game, or 2 games ago now, when he's like, listen, you got to go through everybody, man. Like, it doesn't matter. You're not going to dodge anybody in the Western Conference. I've been playing this conference my whole career. You're not going to dodge anybody, right?
Yeah, and honestly, he has, right? He's always had the tough matchups. That's a perfect Phoenix Sun. Just go up against the toughest matchups every playoffs. You can never avoid these teams, and he's learned from his career that's exactly right, and that's the right mindset to go into it, because it shouldn't be like, oh man, if we play the Lakers, it's over. It's basically like, if we're in the playoffs, we're well deserving of it, and we can compete with any of these teams. They have to be confident in themselves, and that's the best way to put it by Chris Paul.
So, Jamsters, if you're watching along live, let us know who you want to win tonight. Give us kind of like the, fuck Portland and go Laker, whatever.
Yeah, do your thing.
Yeah, let us know what you think. We'll bring those up in the chat here. But as I look at the games tonight, a perfect scenario, and I almost put like a bet here at the Aquarius Resort in Laughlin, Nevada. I almost put like the perfect Suns path today, and literally just picked the teams that I wanted to win, in an effort to get the Suns exactly where I wanted them to be. And essentially, that would be the Jazz lose, Portland loses, the Lakers win. And I think that's like the perfect scenario for me, because that makes the Suns the 1 seed. It puts the Lakers at the 6 seed. It drops Portland to the 7 seed. It'll be Portland versus the Warriors, because I think we can take out either one of those teams.
Yeah.
But again, we would get the 8 seed if we're the 1 seed. So, I mean, it's just like, it would be great to end this season as the 1 seed. It would be great to try to push the Lakers off as far as possible. Now, granted, at the end of the night, I truly believe that the Suns will be the 2 seed, the Lakers will be the 7 seed, the Warriors will be the 8 seed, and then we will be watching that 8-7 matchup with very, I wouldn't say concerned eyes, knowing eyes, hungry eyes,
wandering eyes,
interested eyes. We'll be very interested in what that game says. So the Boogie Trend says, fuck the Blazers and fuck the Jazz. I like it. He's like, I'd rather play Portland over Los Angeles from Coda Kid. I agree with that. Carlos Johnson says, go Portland. So he wants them to win, so we don't have to, so the Lakers would be the team that we're essentially playing. Go Nuggets, Lakers, and Kings from Division X29. Stix is the Jam Star still from Diego Perez.
Yeah, there you go.
Dog, drunk eyes. Yes, that's good. You know, it's 1 o'clock and I'm having the
brown eyes.
Brown eyes. There you go. So, definitely a lot of things to be excited about watching tonight's basketball game. And then, you know, after that, the fun really begins. The great thing is this next week, Matthew, the Suns don't play until probably next Sunday is my guess. Depending on the matchup, depending on how the play-in games go, the Suns might not play till Sunday. It'll be Saturday and Sunday, obviously. But it's going to be really fun to sit back and just know that our team's going to be well rested. We have an opportunity to kind of debate what some of our starting lineups will be as we try to figure out who we're going to play. But let's just kind of recap this season, if you will. What are your thoughts on the 2020-2021 season?
Unreal. Just, I think that honestly, this wasn't really expected. I think even like the win total when I think Dave King came on the pod and we talked about what our predictions are. Whatever predictions we had, they were great predictions, right? They were a winning season, but nothing like this that we thought of. I mean, the players we have on this team now with Chris Paul and Jay Crowder, it's just not underappreciated, but it's crazy to listen to other podcasts like The Ringer and how many times they talk about Jay Crowder and Chris Paul. You know what I mean? Just on a glooming scale of 1 to 10 at 10. You know, these guys are they're raved over because of what they've done in the playoffs beforehand and how they're missing on their other teams and how they are truly missed. And we are lucky to have them. And I think what those guys brought to this team is something that we really didn't even see coming. So right now it's kind of weird because we're in the playoffs, but we're doing this podcast and I'm just thinking like, it just seems like it's gone so fast. And I think that's just life, right? But it's gone so quick. And I think we've enjoyed every game except for maybe a few where we get on 8 and stuff. But this whole season has just been crazy and absolutely amazing. And I think just going into the playoffs, I don't think we could have looked any better as a team. So the way that Monty had this team ready to go all season long, we avoided injuries. We got through COVID and all that. It's really quite the experience for us just to watch, but to deal with it behind the scenes and what they had to put up with and all that and get through the season and get 51 wins. It's astonishing, really. I just don't even know how really to put it into words because it's just been a really crazy year and it's been fantastic to watch.
Yeah, I think it's been a hell of a ride. And thank you for being somebody who's willing to, come on a podcast with me after every game and talk about the Suns, because this has been so much fun. Yeah, considering what we've been through for the past 10 years. And I think one thing that I'm going to be very, very excited about is we don't have to go say the words the past 10 years anymore, because this is all going to be behind us now. This stretch of shitty Suns basketball is over. And who knows, it might start up again next year, but you know what? Hopefully won't go for 10 years.
We won't have the pod then, right?
Yeah.
No pod.
Well, I think the fun thing about this is you and I started this podcast at the beginning of last season, of the 2019/20 season. Yeah. And we started it as a couple of guys who literally were in a garage recording 3 episodes in one sitting and putting them out kind of sporadically throughout the week. And then the pandemic hit, and we had to figure out kind of, we got to talk about something. And we love doing it, and as we've grown with our Jamsters and the people who want to come and share their thoughts about the Suns after every game. And we kind of found our niche in there. Our niche was like, after Suns games, that's when we're going to go live. And I remember it was right around Christmas time. We had done the first podcast, or we'd done a few podcasts for the preseason. And I was like, so, man, do you want to go live like once a week, twice a week? And you're like, no, dude, after every game. I was like, all right, let's do this. Like, we'll go live after every game, and it was obviously we missed yesterday, but it's been a hell of a season. And to sit there and as a Suns fan, experience this, not only experience it as a Suns fan, but experience it with people and to share these moments with you and to share these moments with the Jamsters and the frustrations and the joys and the little laughters along the way, the Sergeant smoke breaks and the big dick books and coming up with different names for male genitalia relative to Suns basketball players.
Sorry, Mom.
It's funny. It's funny and it's fun. And it's been amplified by the fact that this team just finished a season and went 51-21.
Yeah.
51-21. I said 44, and I thought I was being optimistic at the beginning of the season because we just didn't know. And this roller coaster ride that we've experienced, it's only going to progress because now we have the playoffs, and now there's going to be so much more emotion, and hopefully it's going to be more of this joyous emotion of this, of the winning ways. And, to see this team go from a team in the bubble that was lighting the world on fire and no one gave a shit about, to your point, Matthew, a team that now the Ringer, TNT, all these national pundits, it's made Zach Lowe an anti-Suns fan. He's always a guy who's in the Suns corner. Now he's just like, he's pessimistic when he talks about the Suns because it's no longer cool to talk about the Suns because we're not a team that's, scoring 150 points a night. We're a team that's going to grind you out with defense and beat you with clutch shooting. But to see these national pundits nod their head and give respect to the Suns while still not fully giving respect it's fun. It's great to be a Suns fan again. And I was standing in the elevator this morning, and as I was heading down to the lobby, there's a little kid in me, and I got to say, there's a lot of Dodgers and like LA people here in Laughlin right now. And I was standing in the lobby. This little kid was like just looking up at me, and his dad's sitting there, and he has just like an LA hat on. And he's like, son, what are you looking at? And I looked down at the kid, and like you could tell like I was wearing just this, and like he saw the Phoenix, and he saw the colors, and he was just kind of like, I was like, yeah, go Suns, baby. And he's just like, and he smiled and he laughed. And I was like, I don't know if he's laughing at me or with me, but like I was just like, you know what? This is fun, and this has been a hell of a ride. And I talked way too long.
He was checking out
my nips,
dude. And the best part of this,
sorry, Matthew's mom.
Yeah, sorry, Mom. I honestly, this is the beginning, right? This is starting next weekend. It's the beginning of something really, really special, and hopefully we can keep it going as long as we can.
Absolutely. And, for those of you who are going to join us, we're going to be doing a joint effort with the Suns solar panel. We'll be going live after the games. We're going to be at the Chupacabra Tap Room in Mesa for game 1. We'll see if we're going to game 2 at the Chupacabra, if we're going to have another location. I'm working with a couple friends on potentially a secondary location. Cool. Or if Matthew's just going to be in his place and I'm going to be at my place, and we're just going to go in that way. Because it's a long drive to Mesa for me. But, it's going to be great because we're going to be around Suns fans and to experience that again. Matthew, I've alluded to this multiple times in this podcast throughout the year. You've never experienced a Suns game at a bar of being of legal age. Again, I'm older than you by a few years. I'm 38. So the last time the Suns were in the playoffs, I was 28. Or 27, somewhere in there. So, but I had like 6 solid years of the 7 seconds or less era, going to bars, watching the games, experiencing the highs and lows. Like I remember high-fiving people after the Tim Thomas shot that I've never met in my life, and that's going to be the best part about all of this is experiencing it with the fans. And if you're joining us here on the Suns Jam Session podcast to do that during the post game, that's fantastic. If you're going to the games and you're supporting the Suns, you're going to be around that raucous 10,000 people experiencing those moments together because we have home court advantage. So, I mean, there's so much to be thankful and valuable for. And I think that that's one thing that we focused on plenty during the season is enjoy this ride. As we were going through the run, after we went 8-8, and going, absolutely crazy. And it was like 32-5 in the next whatever amount of games, whatever the numbers and the metrics were. Enjoy the ride. Well, now for the next week, we get to appreciate it. It's almost like if your team's going to the national championship in college football, it for like a month, and you get to appreciate it for a month. For the next week, we get to sit back and not have to worry about shit, because whoever's waiting on the other side, we're ready for them, man.
Yeah, I guess so. Unless it's the Lakers for a lot of us, but I don't even care anymore, man.
I don't even care.
This team is as ready. They're 100% ready for the playoffs. Like, absolutely perfect ending and perfect season from the Suns. I think it's 10 out of 10 this year. 11. Turn it up to 11 this year.
Turn it up to 11. So, real quick, for the final time during the regular season, we are going to bring up this here segment.
Guess what?
So, as some of you may have recalled on our Thursday podcast after the last game, who did we beat 2 games ago?
Oh,
Blazers. After the Blazers, we knew that we might not have the opportunity to put out a podcast on Saturday, so we predicted the next 2 games. And Matthew said that the Spurs would win, and then you said the Suns would win, and then the Spurs would win.
Yeah,
and I said that the Spurs would win, and then the Suns would win. So we split the games, and ultimately the final tally for this season: John 34-22. Matthew 35-21. Matthew, you are the guess what champion of the 2020-2021 season. Next season, we'll have to put a bet on it.
Yeah, we will. But until then, hold on. Suck it, John. Suck it.
Oh,
I didn't
man.
want to too far out just in case. I forget if I was wearing shorts or not. So
you should have prepared like a D-Generation X suck it thing.
I should have.
Surprised me with a video of D-Generation
It was well
X.
worth the win, dude. All season long, I struggled and I couldn't wait to hold that in. And honestly, it wasn't even that great. I should have went harder, but I didn't want to knock all my stuff over. So
because Matthew wins, we'll play this drop one more time.
¿Pieza profunda e higiene? Confía en HS para un pelo 100% libre de caspa. Clínicamente probado. HS, shampoo número 1 en...
Yeah, because if I would have done the suck it after that, you wouldn't want to see. You wouldn't want to see what's going on. No, beautiful man. I owe it all to Ricky Rubio.
Yeah, then thank you, Papa Ricky, for helping Matthew get through this season. So,
crotch and nipple game going on. Sorry, did I get the nipple? I didn't know.
So that's it for the season. Once we understand who our playoff opponent is, I don't think we'll be predicting the games necessarily, but we'll just be providing analysis on the upcoming game. So it was fun losing to you. I really wanted to win. I like to win, and you beat me, and we'll always remember that in this season where the Suns went 51 games, you beat me. So fuck off. So. Anything else that you want to talk about before we get out of here today?
Oh man,
I just play some bingo.
I was gonna say, man, I hope you win tonight, and I can't wait for Tuesday night for the jammies, and it's gonna be a lot of fun, dude. Because some of my awards came true, and we'll have to compare them and contrast. I guess is what we're gonna do. So hopefully everyone joins us for that.
Yeah, that's gonna be a really good time. For those of you who've joined us in the past for our Jammy Awards, they're interesting. I think that's a good way to put it. I think that I'm trying to think of the right way to put it for people who've never experienced it. But we will bring up our previous jammies from the past, in which we talk about who we picked at the beginning of the season, who we think is going to win, or who. Essentially the end of year award. So I think that's going to be really interesting to see where we started at the beginning of the season and where we've ended up. Is there any shocking thing that you're kind of thinking of ahead of time?
No. I mean, I can't really tell you right now, right?
No, you can't. I mean, but for those of you who don't remember, this is the jammies.
The jammies.
So make sure that you tune in on Tuesday. And Coda Kid asks, will there be a special guest?
Oh.
You know what? There might be.
Maybe. Good question.
Hell, Coda, maybe we'll have you on. DM us on Twitter if you want to come on and do it. It'll be actually pretty funny. So Buck Dog, are the jammies as good as the Dundies? Nothing's as good as the Dundies, man.
No,
Nothing's
no
as good
way.
as the Dundies.
No, we're at 2 out of 10, if that. Dundies are 10 out of 10, right?
Yes, Dundies are 10 out of 10. And Hell Damn Guy said, you guys won't do post game for the playoffs. No, we will be doing a post game. We'll be doing it alongside the Suns solar panel. So it'll be on their YouTube channel and our YouTube channel. So if you're used to coming here right after Suns game, just keep coming right out here after Suns game. We'll just be doing it with Dave King, Espo, and Saul Bookman as well, getting their analysis and seeing if
Try
they
to get
can
our words in.
trying to get our words in. I'll be trying to get my 8 and watch drop in, and I'll be like, listen, guys, if it doesn't work out, if I don't get my Sarge smoke breaks or my 8 and watch, we'll do our own thing. So
I'll be like, and so
Matthew, what do you think? You're like, shit, I wasn't ready.
I'll just be in the bathroom.
Where'd Matthew go? Like, so yeah, but Fabio's right. Yeah, we'll get some Stat Me Dave on those as well. So I think on that note, Matthew, is there anything else you want to talk about?
No.
Fantastic,
good, dude.
Well, so this is a reminder to everyone. First and foremost, thank you, Jamsters. Thank you for the season. Thank you for the donations in the super chat, for joining us after every game. I was telling somebody the other day, I almost feel closer to people, especially with the pandemic and not seeing a lot of my friends for a long time. I feel closer to people on Twitter and the Jamsters who join us after games than I do a lot of people in my personal life. So
I know, it's like, this is our family, right? Second family.
This is our son's family. So, we can't thank you enough for joining us and supporting our program at the end of every Suns game. We can't do it without you. This is a reminder. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do so as well. If you want to follow the show on wherever you get your podcasts, please do that as well. It's another way to support the show. If you're on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review and we'll read it right here on the podcast. We don't have any new ones. We haven't had any new ones here in a while. So let's get some new ones. You can follow the show at Suns Jam on Instagram, Twitter, and the Phoenix Fans app. You can follow me at Darth Voita at all the same places. You can follow Matthew
at Matthew Lissy.
And on that note, Suns fans, we'll see you on Tuesday night for the Jammies. Again, I'm going to go play bingo with my mama, my sister, and my wife.
All right. Well, be sure to dress up for Tuesday, too. And everyone go home and love your family.
Yeah, buddy.